Maseches Bava Metzia, Daf Nun Ches Amud Aleph, Nach. I want to thank everybody for coming. Noach is a mabul because of the mabul we have outside. Noach Amud Aleph, we are in the two dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from bottom of the page. Nun Ches Amud Aleph. Once I caught a fish alive. That's not what the Gemara says. The Gemara says something else. The Gemara says, Rab Shimon Omer, Kodshim Shechayv B'Achrayuson. Kodshim, that, are we recording? Yeah, we are. Yeah, Rab Shimon Oimer, Kodshim Shechayv B'Achrayuson, Yesh Leino Ino, which means, Kodshim Shechayv B'Achrayuson means what? If I dedicated a korban, I consecrated a korban, and I said, this is a rei olai, which means that it's my responsibility, if anything happens, I have to come up with a new korban. So that korban is not completely belonging to Hashem yet, because I'm also involved, because maybe I'll have to end up paying for it, right? So therefore, yesh le'eno, if I sell it on to someone else, yeah, or I buy or I sell or a pidyon, whatever you want to say, oino applies, says Rab Shimon, because if I have the achrayas, it's as if it's mine, yeah, and secular, regular things. Of course, I know applies to. Of course, there's this or no. If this is something that you're not chay b'achrayas, yeah, if it's a regular korban in which what? I said, Harei zu oila, this is oila. This would be oila. If the oila is there, great. If the oila will die, it's not my responsibility. I'm not accountable. Therefore, this is purely, listen to the Hagdorah, is it purely belonging to Hashem or is it not? If it's purely Hashem's, then oino doesn't apply because Kodshim don't have oino. Very nice. Now, before we continue, let us present to you again what you've heard many, many, many times. What is the concept of Osham Gizelois? What's Osham Gizelois? Yeah, and that is by Shvuas Apikodon. Let's say a person, I deposited my own regular animal. Let's say I have a sheep, meh, that is not regular chulin, and I deposited it by you, and then you stole it or whatever, you took it to yourself, and you lied about it, right? And you swore b'sheker, and then you admitted. What happens then? What do you have to do? What's your kapara? Is it chores osham plus chomish v'osham? Very nice, beautiful, stunning. On that, the Torah says something very interesting, and I'll read it from inside the side of the Gemara here. It says nefesh kisecheto u'malamal ba'Hashem. It's a very kivyochol, misleading words. When the Torah talks about the person, it's a secular, regular thing between two people. And it says, Mal ba'Hashem. Yeah, it's something embezzled from Hashem. Bekichesh ba'amitoy. Those words are very, very important. And he denied to his friend, he lied to his friend Amitoy. Bepikodon, betumas yad, yeah, it was pikodon or gzela, or withholding his salary. Bechule. And then what happens? He has to bring chomesh v'osham. Now, my little question, which the Gemara doesn't ask. Yesterday I didn't preface it enough, so we was all got this. The question is, any parish in the world, from anywhere to the Gemara, to the Rashi, to the Ramban, will tell you this pasuk talks about regular two people, two folks, Moshe and Shimon, that one is mafki to the other. I mean, I know Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere, but where's Hashem in this story? What does it say, Ma'olam al ba'Hashem? It's not. It's a regular thing, right? That's my question. Once we read the Gemara well, we'll get an answer for that too. Now it's time to start the Gemara. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Well, there's the question. We're going to restart to give you another introduction. We'll make it easier. Listen to the following story. What happened? Let's combine both stories together, which means, let's say I have an animal. That animal is an animal of kochim. I dedicated it. There are two ways of doing it. Harei olai, harei zu. With or without my responsibility. But it's in my house now because, only in a week's time I'm going to go with it to Beis HaMikdash, fine? Or 4 days' time. Now I'm going away and I want that animal to be looked after. I need a korban sitter. Babysitter, house sitter, dog sitter. Well, what about korban sitter? This is my korban, and now you lie to me. And I say to you, where is the shepsele? And you start telling me tall tales. And then you admit, and then you this, and then you that. What's going to happen then? In other words, if I deposited by you something that doesn't really belong to me because it belongs to Hashem, Then what? And then the whole story took place. What happens then? Well, when it comes to Shavua, the Maharam Shif points out, Shavua, we can't force you to take Shavua, because Shavua over Kochim you don't take. But let's say you, I'm spoon feed, not an easy sugya, there's a lot of spoon feeding here, sorry. Maharam Shif says, let's say Kofetz Vanishba. The person wanted to show the shomer who's being suspected for not looking after my korban so well because the korban's gone. He starts saying, no, don't force me to be nishba. Kofatz v'nishba, he initiated the shavua. So the shavua happened, and then he admitted that he lied. Okay, shall we force him now to pay chodesh v'asham? Yes or no? That's the question. That's now exactly the question that we're going to deal with. Do we apply the chodesh v'asham, which we see all over the place, to kodshim that were deposited by one person to the other, or not? That's the question. And now you already understand why the word Ba'ashem appears in the pasuk. Because sometimes I can actually, as a regular human being, regular guy, I can deposit by my friend something belongs to Hashem. But that won't be the halacha. Let's see what the Torah has to say. So now let's see. Tani Tana Kamedo B'Yitzchak Bar Abba. Tani Tana means it was an Amoira that taught a brisa in front of Yitzchak Bar Abba, and he wanted to get his approval that it's a good brisa. That brisa, I'm already telling you now, doesn't make sense in any shape or form. The brisa is like the Gemara is going to ask right away that this brisa has at least two major questions on it. Let's see slowly. Kodshim shechayev b'achrayuson. If the kodshim are kodshim that the person, the owner, is responsible for, you tell me now, do they fully belong to Hashem, or is there involvement by the person? There is involvement. Because it's achrayus, chay b'achrayuson. Of course. No. Yeah, but he's more involved in the other case than enu chay b'achrayuson. No. Reb Shimon's whole word is that if I'm involved indirectly, if the fallback will be on me, if I'm Hashem's, how do you call it in America? No, the net kilo, the catch-all. Kilo, anything happens, I'll be responsible. Yeah, I'm supposed to be the guarantor, kilo. I am involved, and it's considered partially mine. Yes, that's all word. I mean, that's what you said till now. So, Kochim Shechai B'Achrayuson, Chayev, if I deposited that kind of animal to my friend and he started playing up and doing the shtiyot, then he has to give Chomesh V'Osham, something that I'm partially involved with, Shani Korah Ben B'Hashem, because that's called B'Hashem. That's called something belonging to Hashem. V'kichesh, B'Hashem v'kichesh, because the Pasuk says B'Hashem v'kichesh ba'amitoy. V'she'enu chai b'achrayusan, now you get it better, Tzvi. It's all relative. Enu chai b'achrayusan, korban number 2. It's a korban that said harezu. If the animal dies, not my responsibility. That korban belongs 1,000,000% purely only to Hashem. And in that case, enu chai b'achrayusan, and I gave it to the other guy, then he is potter. Then enu chai b'achrayusan means belonging completely to Hashem. He is potter. He now is potter. Shani korban ba'amitoy v'kichesh, because they are called belonging to his friend. Omar Lei, the question, you don't have to ask the question because the Gemara is going to ask the question. So now, Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Abba told him, you're wrong on 2 accounts. Klape Laya, where does this lead to? Which direction? The directions are all wrong, which means Ipcha Mistabra. It's just the other way around. Explains Rashi, there are 2 issues here. First of all, Misvara, you're wrong, because you're telling me what? He's saying B'Hashem, because it belongs to Hashem, that's why he's Chayiv B'Achrayas? Yeah. Why? And he korban b'Hashem. The person is involved, you called it b'Hashem? No. On the contrary, if the person is involved, it's less belonging to Hashem. And if the person is not involved, then it's completely belonging to Hashem. Just the other way around. There's another question here that also misvar doesn't make sense, what you're saying, because you're telling me now, it's also wrong. It's wrong to say that. You're telling me that because because it belongs to Hashem, that's why he should be chayev. It's also not true, because if he belongs to Hashem, we said all the time, it's less the person. Makes much more sense to say that the more secular the korban is, the more it belongs to the person, the more there will be chiyuv, not the other way around. Omerle, so he told him the whole brisa is the wrong way around. Ismay, shall I erase the brisa? Because Amaroi, many times, if you follow the Gemara, they tested the brises. Is this an approved brisa? Does this brisa make sense? I said it once and people argue with me, and I'm saying it again and again and again. The Mishnah was not fully written until the Gemara was written. It may be an avant-garde thing to say, but you see it like here. In other words, texts that were from the times of the Mishnah were still tested at the times of the Gemara. And that's what's happening here. Yeah? And then, shall I erase it? Is that brisa wrong? No, you don't have to erase the brisa. You have to re-understand it. You have to understand it in a new light. This is really what the brisa means to say. A kochim that a person is involved with, you know, as chai b'achrayusan, although they partially belong to Hashem. What do we talk about now? What's chai b'achrayusan? I don't like to say the word partnership, but guarantor, yeah, is also part of the story, right? A kochim shechai b'achrayusan, the person is chayev, the person who received them b'pikodan is chayev. The israbu mi b'Hashem v'kichesh, which means Hashem, says Rashi very nicely, doesn't say Hashem excluding a secular korban. Of course, an animal that fully belongs to a regular person, of course you chayev on by Shvos HaShomrim. The issue is, although, not because it's Hashem's, although Hashem is also involved in it, that's why Hashem is in the story. That answers my question. Although Hashem is in the story and this is the korban, because the person is involved as a guarantor, as you say, that's why you're chayev. That's the formula. It's not because it belongs to Hashem there's a chiyuv, although it belongs to Hashem there's a chiyuv. Because lamaisa, it belongs to Hashem, but because I'm also in the story as a guarantor, it's not completely 100% purely Hashem's. That's why there's a chiyuv. That's why Hashem is appearing here. And the she'enu chai b'achrayusan. What happens on the other hand when it's enu chai b'achrayusan? What happens when the korban is completely Hashem's, and if the be'ema drops dead, heart attack, the sheep get ping, olam haba, then I'm completely potter. I'm not guaranteeing anything. It completely Hashem's. Then potter, you know it's potter. The imit mi be'amito v'kichesh comes the turn, tells me your friend. Only if it belongs to your friend, either fully or partially, and then kichesh the guy lied, he has to pay. But there are three situations here. But if it completely belongs to Hashem, then you're potter. Let's review. There are three animals now. The animal that's completely, let's say there are four even four. We don't need a chart. On the two extremes are very, very clear cases. Animal which is completely secular, nothing to do with Beis Hamikdash. Yeah, the guy's mafkid his friend in L.A. I don't know, nothing to do, a sheep, something. Of course it applies, obviously. Of course you have to be kichash nishba, you have to give the whole thing. If the animal is fully, completely Hashem's, and if he dies, I'm not responsible. It's jumping around in my yard, but it's right now completely Hashem's. Then what? He will learn from the pasuk ba'amitoy v'kichesh. Yeah, if there's no involvement of a mitoy, my friend is not involved in it, I'm potter. What about the middle of the road case? The case of what? Let's say the animal is belonging to Hashem, but I am involved because I'm a guarantor. Here comes the turn, says b'Hashem. Although the animal belongs to Hashem, not because, although it's Hashem's, but because there is the element of the secular, regular person involved, that's why in that case, he's still chayev. That's Prat in the Apostle. Baruch Hashem. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, now it's easier. The next piece is easier. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda, we're finishing the Mishnah now. Rabbi Yehuda argued with Chachamim. What did Chachamim say? What did Tanakama say? Tanakama said, which things don't ever know? I need to have my tzei, proper tzei. So you talk now. According to Tanakama, which four items I know doesn't apply to? You get a trip to Switzerland tomorrow if you know the answer quickly. No? To Australia, actually. What? Avodim, very good. What? Shtar, turquoise, and Ekdeshos. A trip to Switzerland, very nice. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, what? A trip to Melbourne, very good. On Shlomo will take us. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda argues with Chachamim. He doesn't argue that they're wrong, but he's adding more items to the list. The list of things that don't have a no, which means you may overprice, yeah? Rabbi Yehuda says there are other things. What is they? Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Afa Meicher Sefer Torah, Margolis Ubehema. Three things: a Sefer Torah, Margolis, which is, a diamond or pearl, a gem. Margolis is a pearl, I know. Yeah, I learned that only a few years ago. He does mean only a pearl. In this case, Margolis definitely has the, as you'll see in the Gemara, a more vast definition of any real good gem. Behema is a working animal. Yeah, work animal. And lema, you know. Now, I just want to explain. Rabbi Yehuda is very one-sided, unilateral. Rabbi Yehuda says that the buyer cannot complain he paid too much. Yeah. In other words, not the other way. The buyer cannot say, I was overpriced. That's a diamond. It cost 20,000. I don't know how much diamonds cost. I don't know. 10,000. Is it funny what I'm saying? The diamond cost 10,000 shekels. I don't, is there such a thing? 10,000. Ich weiß nicht, whatever. Yeah, my wife has billions of diamonds, but they're all in Shamayim. Yeah, the kids are. Yeah, that I've heard. Yeah, the diamond is worth 10,000, and you overpriced me 20,000. Can go back to the diamond dealer in Ramat Gan and scream at him, and b'chule. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no diamonds, behemoths, and Sefer Torah. Above all, there is no Sefer Torah. I do know. Instead of 100,000 shekels for Sefer Torah, he charged me 200,000 for the same writing, for the same level of ksiva. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no. Look to the brisa. Tanya. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Sefer Torah en lo ino. If a person sells Sefer Torah, not the one who buys complains, the seller bought Sefer Torah and the buyer feels it was overcharged, and we don't recognize that. Didn't we sing in Simchas Torah? Torah is above anything. You pay anything for the Torah, says Rabbi Yehuda. In other words, people are willing to pay a lot to get it's a mitzvah, the Raisa, and the Torah is invaluable, is above any value, and therefore there's no overpricing there. Behema Margolis. What about the working animal and Margalit, the gem? And why don't they have a person wants to match them, to pair them, which means, says Rashi, and I actually see in a lot of Rishonim here, if you have a working animal, let's say you have one ox that's a really good working ox, and you need another ox of the same level. How do you plow your field? You did yesterday? How do you plow your field? You need two oxen together. One is not good enough. I have three, So two, yeah. So you have the two oxen. If one ox is good and diligent and the other one is a lazy, lousy guy, then one will be mekalkel the other. Bad chever. They don't work well together. It's like parts for your car. You need a good part. The original, what? Not a compatible. The original. Yeah. So therefore, the behema is priceless because you want just that level of animal. What about Margolis? Let's say, your wife has her diamond ring and there's a place for two diamonds. It's much nicer, one diamond next to the other rather than just one diamond. Yeah, they can be set properly into the jewelry design when you have two diamonds. So you'd pay anything for that diamond in order lezavgan to fill in and pair up and fill in with the other one. So now Omru Loi, and that's why it's priceless. That's why it's priceless. By the way, it's Machlokes Rishonim. Some Rishonim say, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it means priceless to no end, and some say only double. Some say, one second, only double because it's like pairing. In other words, it's worth like two. Yeah, she lost one earring, I need the other earring, so it's worth like its own double. That's why if the diamond is 10,000, up to 20,000 is okay, but not more than that. Lefi some shittas. Give me 1 second, please, Rabbi Yaakov. Omru Loi, Chachomim retorted back and said, only Behema and Margalis is something that people want to pair, want to match. Why? Anything. Ever been with your wife to some store? And she says, "Oh wow, that blue, I don't know, that burgundy towel, we have to get it because it matches the curtain, it matches the carpet." Women are into that. Yeah, many times they want to match things together, not only the expensive ones. So with your logic, we'll never have because the seller can always, and they do that. They always tell you, oh, must be in your house. You have that item that fits it very nicely, right? Not just that. So you'll never have because you can always tell the buyer, no, it's worth a lot for you because you can match it with something else. Rabbi Yehuda, what would Rabbi Yehuda say? Hani chashivile, vani lo chashivile. Yeah, which means hani chashivile, vani lo chashivile is telling me it's true that the little towel is also nice to match with the other towel or with the curtain, with the dress or whatever. But lemaisa, it's not as important because diamond is a diamond. Diamonds are forever, right? There's such a thing. And also, imagine yourself, we laugh at the oxen, think of a car. Yeah, you have your prized car. People worship the cars, right? And you need an important part. That's really important to match. The shank and the towels or the smaller things or the dishes or the knives and forks, the less choshuv. The zivug there is not so choshuv. Thank you for your patience. The ad kama, How far do you go according to Rabbi Yehuda? I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's a Gemara, not Rishonim. You can only pair it up, and you can only overcharge up to 100% of the price. The diamond is 10,000. You can overprice up to 20,000 or not. The Machlokas Rishonim, I'm sorry, was about Kalkois. Remember, we said that by Kalkois, yeah, and Lamayno. So we said Machlokas is it and Lamayno up to double or less. That was Rashi and Tosas which we saw a few days ago. Rabbi Gitztin, I want to hear your beautiful comments. Weiter. Okay. Now the Adka Tanya. Oh, now this is a very, very, very interesting addition here. The Brisa. I had a discussion about it yesterday with Baruch, and let's read. Tanya says the Brisa. There's another list of items that may be overpriced, like Rabbi Yehuda, or some say even without Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Somebody who sells the horse, the saif, that's a sword, the chatitum, or some say titus. You know what that means? It's a shield. Somebody who sells what? Warfare arms. Yeah, firearms today. B'milchama, during the war. And I may know, if I sell you guns and tanks and missiles, whatever, during the war, somebody has a war with someone, you sell Ukraine or Russia, you sell them arms for a lot of money. There's no, I can charge you double if I sell it to you during the war when you really need it. Why not? Because that's what you need right now. Right now, it's chay nefesh, which in English is essential for you, not the kuch nefesh. Because right now you're stuck and you really need that, the neshek, you need the arms, you need the firearms, you need the thing, that, and it's wartime now, therefore there's no ino. That is a very, very interesting question. I'll tell you what's an interesting question. Because Baruch asked me yesterday, what happens if somebody sees that in the gas station or maybe in the petrol, no petrol station today. Ooh, today just gas station. Yeah. And in the gas station, you see that the price of water or the price of potato chips are scarily much, much higher than in Rami Levi or in Osher and, right? What's pshat? Is that fair or unfair? Is that okay for the same bag of potato chips to charge double? So that's a question. In other words, well, I can look at it in two ways. On one, I can say they exploit the fact that people are on their way and they're really hungry and thirsty and they would pay anything, right? Which, wait, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beser says that's fine. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beser says arms during the war, when you really need it, for you, it's worth anything. Don't come to me after the war and say, why did I charge so much? Maybe that's the fair thing to do. That's what Rabbi Yehuda ben Beser says. Listen, if right now at war, you really need the arms, for you, they're not worth, I don't know how much a gun is worth. It's not 100,000 shekels for a gun. It's 300,000 or 200,000 for a gun. Because right now, for you, that's essential. How much would be a bottle of water in the Sahara Desert? 1,000,000 shekels. You're really about to die. Umbrella and rainy day. My wife just bought me one because my daughter lost mine. So I don't like to spend, but I need an umbrella. So in other words, very good. That's the story. Now, do we say, I want to compare this to a Gemara, which I was reminded by one of the Chronim here. The Gemara Daf Kuftet Zayin Bava says, if you remember, what happens if the person, like in a movie scene, the person is running away from someone, and he has to run and cross a river, and he tells the boatman, the skipper, he tells him, take me over to the other side of the river, I'll give you a whole dinar, which is way more. And that guy was not busy with another job. He had some the taxi driver, or the gondola driver, whatever. He actually I offered him too much. I don't have to give him that too much because he didn't really give me more. What about the ne'emonos is a different question. Just because I was in distress and I had to run away from the criminals or the police or the whoever from this, doesn't mean that he really gave me something more, right? In other words, everybody else in the area, he charges them 20 shekels. Why is he charging me 200 shekels? Because he's exploiting my situation. So all of a sudden here, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beser is singing a different song. He's telling me what? He's telling me that really at war, it's okay to charge more. What's the difference? I'll tell you what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll tell you what I think. The way I think is like this. I think Rabbi Yehuda ben Beser, by the way, is the one who believes you may overcharge. What would Chachamim say? You can't. According to Chachamim, you cannot actually overcharge even in times of war. So could be that's a machloikas. I believe that's my own pshat. It's my own chiddush. If I'm allowed to say chidushim in the shiur, if you don't mind. Everybody agrees that if everybody charges, inflation, if everybody in the market charges 50 shekel per kilo of gvaniot, of tomatoes, what can you do? It's not, everybody else does it together. Or no, it's relative, right? Everybody else will tell you, yeah, that's the price of tomatoes now. No tomatoes, just tomatoes today, right? Fine. On the other hand, everyone will tell you that if everybody else, all other taxi drivers right this second are charging 20 shekels, and the guys running away in distress, they're charging 40, that's disgusting. They're exploiting a situation. I think the question, the machlokes is gufa, what happens when it's a special situation, meaning times of war, but it's not just for one person, it's for everybody. Yeah, it's not just one guy. At times of war, how much does the lulav cost now? If I would buy now a lulav, it would cost me very little. A lulav erev sukkos, that's a going price. What do you want? That's normal, right? That's the question. Do we say that the horse at the time of war and the shield in the sword of times of war, do we say that's unfair overpricing, exploiting the situation? Or do we say, no, that's the water in the Sahara. Water in Sahara is worth more. That's how the market goes. The potato chips in the gas station is worth more because you want to keep your kids quiet, stop screaming in the back. So you buy the potato chips. It's not called exploiting. That goof is a question. Halacha l'maisa doesn't really apply. Why? Halacha l'maisa, we don't pass in the Rabbi at all. Asad Shulchan Aruch unequivocally, he says that the halacha is not like Rabbi Metzia, or halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda, and really the only things in which you don't have oino are karkois, avodim. Next time you buy an eved, the shtorois, the kedeshos, they don't have oino. But the margolis, the sefer Torah, they do have oino. Oino applies to them, and you can't overcharge even the diamond. Only the saving grace is, the Shulchan Aruch says, sefer Torah, be'ema margolis, you have more time to show around. Because the fancy animal and the fancy diamond, that's a big purchase. You have more time to show around because not everyone is a maven in diamonds. People can tell you very quickly how much is a phone, how much is a tomato. Not everyone knows how much is a diamond and the clarity and the v'chula and the carrot. And therefore, you have more time as a customer to complain. In that respect, we give you more leeway as a customer. Yeah, but to say completely that, that the person, we can't say never ripped you off, right? That we can't say there is a rip-off, also an expensive things. Next Mishnah or questions? Weiter? Okay. Says the Mishnah. Yeah. Says the Mishnah. Yeah. There's a Murphy's law. There's a Murphy's law in this year. Whenever a guy asks a good question and I'm ready with an answer for the answer of the good guy's good question, he's not here the day later. It's always like that. When you ask a good question, which I'm chalishing to answer, the person is not here during shiur. No offense, no nothing. It's all good. You can ask questions after shiur. And now let's be nice to each other because the Mishnah that we're about to see now is all about being nice to each other. Says the Eilige Mishnah, especially to Baal Tshuva. Says the Mishnah, Kishem she'ino b'mekach u'memka, just like oino is to ono is it occurs to me now, and I don't think it's a joke. You know that all the English comes from the Hebrew. I don't mean psychologia and philosophia. Absolutely, it all comes from Lashon HaKodesh. All languages come from Lashon HaKodesh. Are you surprised by that? You didn't know that? Of course, Lashon HaKodesh was a Lashon that the world was created with. All other languages evolved from Hebrew. I mean, I don't know the kfir they teach in university that I know, but it does make a difference. Lashon HaKodesh, not modern Hebrew, whatever, achla, sababa, but I'm saying original, real Hebrew. Of course, that's the mother of all languages. I can tell you an hour talk about it. Yeah, my daughter had to give a speech in school, and I prepared it for her about that. Oino reminds me of annoy, to annoy. Oino, I knew you're going to like it. Oh, you see, I do like you. Oino doesn't just mean to overprice or underprice. I never like those terms. Oino means to be on the wrong side, to annoy. Not to the guy's doing oino is not mamash a liar, but it's annoying to know I was overpriced. It's like it's a kvetch, right? So too says the Mishnah, you're not allowed to annoy your friend. Yeah. I'm sorry, I hope I wasn't too strong. Yeah. Says the Mishnah, yeah. Keshem shoino b'mekach u'memka, just like oino applies to business, oino b'dvarim, also oino is in regular everyday talk. Don't talk to your friend in a way that annoys, that insults him. Although example number one is in the border of business and not business. example number one is lo yomer loy. Don't go to a shop, and then people do that a lot. Don't go to a shop and ask the person, become a chefetze, how much does that cost? You know, with stars in your eyes, it looks like you were very excited about buying it. You have absolutely no havamina. If you have a havamina to buy it, maybe. You have no interest in, I don't know, toaster, make it what? In that Ferrari, right? I have a few at home I can give you for free. Yeah. So let's say that Ferrari is not your taste, or maybe not your budget, I don't know. And you're really looking into asking about the price of the Ferrari, driving the person crazy. You're not allowed to do that because it annoys him, because he believes he has a customer, and you don't even have a thought of being. If you have Avamina, it's different. But if you don't have Avamina, he's done brother to drive him nuts. That's also Midoraisa. Don't do that. Imoya Baal Tshuva. Let's say the person is Baal Tshuva. Soon we're going to define Baal Tshuva. If the person was Baal Tshuva, lo yomer lo, don't tell him Zchor Maasecha Rishonim. Remember your good old. Remember old bad, your dark days. Yeah, I remember you eating your cheeseburger, you with your black hat and black suit. I remember the nights that you went into McDonald's with your parents all the time. Yeah. Although we're going to define Baal Tshuva differently soon, I'll be with you soon, Leon. 1 second. Now another one. Imhu ben Gerim. Let's say he's the son of Gerim, not Mackenzie. He was already, that Tim Mackenzie was Megayer many times. So Tim Mackenzie, one of the times it was Megayer, is a son called Israel Yaakov Mackenzie. Yeah, he was born already in Shaarei Tzedek and went to Chadorim all his life. Yeah, yeshiva. Lo yomer lo, don't tell Israel Yaakov Mackenzie, Zchor Maaseh Avosecha. Remember the deeds of your fathers. You're being the frumest kid in class. I saw a picture of your grandmother that she ate ham all day long. Shenemar, it says, V'ger lo toine. Don't do oino to a ger, and don't oppress him. There's a lot to say in this Mishnah, but I'm listening to you first. Very good. You don't do price shopping when you don't really have the kavanah. It's Gnevas das, and it's no. Here we are. Here's the source. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for. Yeah. I want to point out before we continue, listen, spot the differences between Baal Tshuva and a ger. Baal Tshuva, he says, I remember when you were young what you did. I remember the type of movies you watch in the cinema. Now you're throwing out on me. But the Ben Gerim, it doesn't say ger, it says Ben Gerim. Why don't we say that you tell the ger himself, Mackenzie, you're a guy, you dive into the pesel, Christian, I don't know, atheist, what you were. Why? Say the Rishon with Pnei Yeshua. Here, Pnei Yeshua is very big. I looked a lot in Pnei Yeshua here. It says, obviously, a ger, it's not an insult for him that he ate chazir or that he was married to a shiksa. He was a guy. So it's a stupid thing to tell a guy, I remember you did bad things. It's not bad for the guy, right? Lamai. So we'll see it differently later on one nekuda. Generally speaking, what do you want me to do? Not eat ham. It's a very nice thing to eat ham as long as your name is Mackenzie and you're born to a Catholic family. I was a nice guy. Mashain Ken Ben Gerim, we tell him, listen, mister, you were born into Frum Yiddishkeit, Ben Gerim, and your parents were like that, so that's like Ilu Pga Mishpacha. I can't marry you. We can't marry in our illustrious family, all Talmidei Chachamim, Rabbanim, and Rabbis. We can't marry because you're number two, you're degraded, you're class B because your parents. Yeah, it's more like a yichus thing. You yourself know. Yeah, v'chule. Yeah, I'm allowing this. Yeah. We were offered the shidduch with the family, and the parents are Baal Tshuva, very nice people, and my wife knows her. So I spoke to someone. I'm even online, and so I spoke to a guy who is very from a Choshev family, which I know. So he goes like, you know that they're Baal Tshuva? So I'm like, yeah. He thought they would like throw me off. Then he said nice things about the Bach. It was so funny. Then he goes on. I said, great, amazing. I know them. Fine. They're very nice people. I have no problem being shtadich with them. The kids are. So that's thank you for keeping your patience. That's what I want to say. You're being very nice. And by the ger, so that's the difference between Baal Tshuva and the ger. Now, Baal Tshuva of today is not really Baal Tshuva, because most Baal Tshuva, we have in mind Baal Tshuva, somebody born in a village in New Zealand with absolutely no Judaism, and today is the Choshev Arechi and Eshet Torah or Sameach. That's not exactly the Baal Tshuva that the Rishonim and Achronim talk about, because that person again was a Tinuk Shenishba. So to tell about Tshuva Yoet Chazer is not so insulting, because of course he had Chazer. He had no idea, didn't know any better. They hardly gave him bris milah because that was the background. Tinuk Shenishba. The Baal Tshuva that we talk about sounds like a person who was studying in Panavish, and it was a very big Baal Lashon Hara. Let's say, let's not get excited. Yeah, he used to be Lashon Hara all day long. Today is very strong anti-Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara campaigns. It tells everybody else off. And somebody else already had it. And it says, "You, Shimon Yankel Ben Atzadik, is a frum guy. You tell me not to speak Lashon Hara. I remember how you were the hotspot for all the juicy Lashon Hara in Panavish." That's reminding about Tshuva. I'm saying, let's take the flair out of Baal Tshuva here. Yeah, Baal Tshuva can be any frum Jew that erred in certain areas, and you remind him of the areas they erred in. Yes. You're being very patient and nice, and we're not yet in North Korea. We're close. We're not there yet. Yeah. It's nice. There's the Gemara. Well, nothing's changed. It says the Gemara. Ton Rabbanon. Lo toinu ishes amito. It says in Isra in the Torah, don't do oino one to the other. What's oino? Oino's dvorim akosu medaber. It means don't speak badly, don't insult, don't give under the. By the way, the Agdor of Oino in the Minchas Chinuch is when you are not in the same situation. If one guy, let's talk about regular Baal Tshuva. If one guy in Eshet Torah tells the other guy, "You ate cheeseburger," and the other one say, "You ate ham," that's not a nos dvarim because they're both in the same boat. But if the guy is, guy who ki'ilu never sinned, kivyochol, and he tells the other guy, "You spoke Lashon Hara," that's a problem. Yeah, when you have the one up, when you want to show yourself superior by putting the other person down in a soft spot, in his Achilles heel, that's a problem. Yeah. You're telling me the pasuk talks about onos dvarim, about insults, or benos moment. How do you know? Maybe the Torah only forbids onos moment, assuming money is the real thing. And it says timkur memker. Maybe the only isser is to overprice and do oino with money. Says the Brisa. Shu oimer. There's another pasuk for that. For that, there's another pasuk. Can't get clearer than that. When you sell a mimkar lamitecha, what's mimkar? Excluding a star. When you buy from your friend, black and white, that's what buying and selling. That's not insults. So Enos Mammon is already dealt with in a different pasuk. So why is the Torah adding don't do oino one to the other? I know already about money. Which other no is there? You fill the box. Onos dvarim to insult verbally. Onos dvarim means a verbal insult. Yeah. Haketzad, give me an example. What's a nos dvarim? Im hoya bal tshuva. The person sinned in certain area and now he's not sinning in that anymore. He used to talk during davening. That's nice. He used to be a big talker during davening. One day got hit on the head, stopped, he had a near-death experience based in Shalmala. From now, that's it. He closes his mouth to speak nicely. The whole davening. Im hoya bal tshuva. Al yomer lo. Don't tell him. Don't remind him, you used to be a big talker, the only one in shul. Don't mention him as Ma'asim Rishonim, the dark past. Imoyo ben Gerim, if he was a son of Gerim, which is not his issue, but it's a yichus issue. Al Yomerlo, don't tell him Zchor Ma'aseh V'Yisecho. Remember where you came from. You don't be so superior. Remember where you came from, not from good stock. Imoyo Ger comes now a different story. Imoyo Ger, it's a yichus. Yichus is many, many zeros. If you have one in front with many zeros, it's a million. But if you yourself is also a zero, then everybody else is not worth anything. If a person has chashivus himself, then the hezeda and the alter zeda mean something. But if the person is a nothing and all he has to boast is his zeda, then it's all garnished. Now, imayo ger, the person is a ger. Ubali in my Torah, he's a ger and he wants to join yeshiva. Yeah, he wants his kids to join cheder. Al yomer loy, don't tell the ger. You, Mr. Mackenzie, now you called Avram Mackenzie, the same mouth in which you ate nevelis, trefus, and all kinds of, bugs, and maybe comes from China, Japan, today in the Western world also, they eat all kinds of ants and mosquitoes. You eat those things. With this mouth, you want to now learn Torah Mepia Gvura. Now, the question is, what's the story? We just said for a goy, it's not a problem to eat kotim ramosim, right? Ben Gerim, we say tzichus, but what's the story? So they explain like this. In a chanami, we can tell the ger, the menayel of the cheder, science fiction, can tell the Ger family, the Mackenzies, listen, I appreciate the journey you've been through, and you yourself became so frum and said you're Jewish, but Lamaisa, when it comes to learning Torah, one could argue and say that Shkotzim Muslim, it's a reality, it's a Metzias. It's a reality in your body, Kilo, your body is Tome from the Shkotzim Muslim. It's not about good or bad, it's about a Metzias. Metamtem es alev. So maybe that applies now not to learn Torah. Like Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't nurse from a goite. Kamash Malan, you don't say that because that's nonsense. Another pshat, shkotzim eramosim, even by goyim it's disgusting. Lamaisa, you tell, I hope, I don't know how bad the Western world is, I'm surprised every day anew. Let's say shkotzim, by normal goyim, which don't exist today, yeah, I know, but normal goyim, normal American, normal Englishman, so if you tell him eat a fried, I don't know, bee or a mosquito, would say, that's disgusting. He wouldn't want to eat it, right? So if a goy ate those kotzim or mosim, that's disgusting. So even by goyim, it's low standard, and I know you did that. That's kilu. That's what other Rechronim say. Today the world is over crazy and malasik. Another form of anos dvorim, which has nothing to do with Baal Tshuva. Im hoya, yeah. Another thing, im hoyu surim boinolo. A person lo leinu is going through pain. Physical, emotional, something bad, I don't know, bereaved parent, divorce, Yisurim Bainolov, Yisurim come upon him, and the people, yeah, now, or Imhoyu Choloim Bainolov, yeah, oh, it's coming now. Let's say there are Choloim Lo Leinu, disease comes upon him, or Shem Mekaber is Bonov Lo Leinu, with a terrible thing. I just visited a few days ago, bereaved father. Yeah, let's say he buried his children, so now we want to give him some untactful comments. Does that ever happen? No, never ever. No. Yeah, my daughter had cancer. She was in a hard situation. Baruch Hashem, she's well. So a guy asked me, how many other children do you have? And I said, so he said, okay. You know which country he came from? From Holland. A frum Jew from Netherlands, from Holland. Okay, not Israel. Yeah, he told me that in his phone. But so that's a dogma. So now, let's say you want to visit the friend and give him some sound advice. Don't tell him. We all know that Eov had a very hard job in life. Yeah, he was a big sufferer. One of his friends, yeah, the Teimani, Eliphaz, and was it Eliphaz Teimani, right? He told him, in other words, your yira, there are a few explanations here. You're such Yira Shemaim. Eov was a big tzaddik. Your Yira, right from the beginning, you're suffering now. That indicates that your Yira was kislosecha, was foolish. Your Yira wasn't real. I can now tell that now you're suffering. Your Yira Shemaim wasn't really internal. It was like Iksil. Or the Maharsha explains very nicely. Iksil is also one of the celestial bodies in Shemaim. It's one of the planet system, one group of stars. Yeah. So Iksil is that you are only samech on your mazel. As long as your mazel was good, you're a shamayim. Now you have a bad mazel. I see you're not such a shamayim. He's criticizing him. The guy's suffering like crazy, horrible skin disease, and the Teimani is telling him Musar, your hope and your your good ways, they're all fake. All your good midas, I can now tell all your good midas are just fake. You remember a real Naki, a real clean person never gets lost. In other words, Yisurim don't. It's also not true. He says, yeah, if you were a real tzaddik, this wouldn't have happened to you. So next time, if you visit somebody who has tzaras, don't tell him that. When a person is going through a tzaras, even if you feel he should have been doing something more correct, that's not the time to tell him, and that's in such an overt way. Next, another form of Einoas Dvorim. Yeah. Let's say there are chamorim, they are not the donkeys, the donkey drivers. They want him to sell them tvua. They need petrol, they need to fuel their chamorim. So they ask you for tvua, for animal fodder. Lo yomer lehem, don't tell them, lechu etzel ploini shehu mocher tvua. Don't tell him, go to Chaim Yankel over there, because he sells tvua. And you know that he never sold tvua. In other words, you want to play a practical joke. That also is sometimes a nos dvarim. You like to pull people's legs. You like to, to play jokes on people. And you say, ha, 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 let's look from the side. Let's even take my smartphone and watch how they're asking you for tvua. And both sides are going like candid camera. Yeah, they're both going to meet each other. And it's going to be very embarrassing. Don't do that. Not allowed to do a candid camera in halacha if you know that it will be just annoyed. Yeah, that's just annoying for both sides. Yeah, no, nobody's gaining anything. Rabbi Omer, and that is similar to what said in the Mishnah. Don't look too hard or investigate into buying something knowing you have no money. Sometimes people like to feel rich. They go to the fancy jewelry store, they can barely buy bread and milk for the kids, and they start asking the sales ladies, how much is this jewelry, how much is the other one? Yeah, I don't know. There are watches for, I'm not exaggerating, 100,000 euro watch. There is. I saw in France, I went crazy. Such things. Yeah, I didn't go into the store, don't worry. Yeah, I almost fainted when I saw it. $100,000 watch, there are such things. You don't go to the store and ask how much, because you know you're not buying it, and you stop annoying the guy. You're creating false hope by that guy. Of course, I'm talking when he's Jewish. Now, Sharei, and now we have a punchline. Shadavar Mosur Lalev. Because those things are up to your own heart, meaning only you know if you're sincere or not. In other words, if I go to the store and dress nicely and I want to feel choshuv or play games or jokes and show my friends like a shiva bacher that I'm cool, and I ask the guy in France, let's say, how much is this watch, how much is the other? Nobody knows if I have money or don't have money. The guy thinks I'm rich. So in my own heart, I know that I'm playing jokes. Only Hashem and I know the situation, right? Only I know that I'm not going to buy it, but I can play it. If people will come and tell me, that's not nice. Why are you play? I say, why? Why isn't that nice? Maybe I really want to buy the watch. That's a lie. So you can lie to your friends, but you can't lie to Hashem. The kol dover, Mosra Lalev, anything that are only up to a person's heart, that it's an internal question there. It says in it, it says That's why in that pasuk, if the pasuk terminates with the term the same thing with the tvua. Let's say those the people, the chamorim, who are looking for cereal for the animals, for animal fodder, they go to the other guy, they'll come back to me screaming, why did you direct us there? I'll say, I didn't know. Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry. I was sure that he has animal fodder to sell, and he doesn't. I can still lie to them. They're new in town, but I can't lie to myself, and I can't lie to Hashem. That's what it says. And here comes big news, and it's actually bad news because we all have to do tshuva. Wow. Oinos dvorim is worse than oinos momon. In other words, to tell your friend to hit a soft spot in your friend. I remember in the past there's something this and that, yeah? To hit a soft spot and insult him, sometimes indirectly, is worse than underpricing. It's worse than cheating with money because you're hurting the person's feelings, and feelings are more than money. That's what Goyim don't always know. They are. When it comes to personal insult, it says meaning that's a biggie. That's something that shows like a viras shamayim. Now, nobody says that overpricing, undercharging, v'chulei. Nobody says it's a nice thing to do. But as we said, it's not complete lie. It's just being unfair, right? And it's not. Nobody said it's okay. It's not as bad as insulting. An insult, people can carry insults for years. Sometimes you can break a person completely for years. Yeah. There are stories, Gabi stories. If we have time, there was once a guy that he wasn't called. It was a good Avrech, and he could have become Gadol Ador. He could have advanced a lot in learning. Yeah, I'm not saying everyone should be in learning, but this guy had great potential. And one of the other Avrechim said, "You sing such tuyot, you're such a you better go out and work already and leave Kola, leave the Torah world." And he did. I'm not saying it's the only reason. Yeah, and he could have become a Gadol Ador. And I'm not saying it's true that it's a person's choice. Also, the one who receives the blow, how to respond, but it does not absolve the person who's giving the insult, from responsibility. Also, it's two different things. Now, there are blows or oimer. That's what abusive people always say. Don't take it too seriously. They abuse you, and then they say, "Why are you taking things so seriously?" That's my question. Take seriously, but it's your question. Why are you insulting the other person? It's two different things. Weiter. Rablozo says, "Zebe gufoy v'zebe mamoino." Did you hear that? An insult hurts your body. Wow. It's physically hurting. When a person is distressed, it can affect his health. And that is only money. The person can mamish fall ill from being seriously insulted. They all give reasons why an insult is worse than a money issue. One of the, I'm not trying to insult anybody, definitely not today, I find it sometimes funny before I explain the Gemara when in Hebrew it doesn't exist. When in English it exists, that term, you say take it back. Let's say I tell someone you're a pig. I'm not saying you're chacham. I tell someone you're chazir, and they say take it back. What do you mean take it back? Once I said it, it was said. You can ask mechila, but can't take back the words. No, words cannot be taken back, right? Think about it. Right? People that take it back, take it. What do you mean take it back? Yeah, you can say mechila, but let's say you hurt you on a really sensitive point, and the pain is there. You can ask mechila buying flowers, but you can't say take it back. Words cannot be taken back. Money can. Money can. You stole $1 million from me, based in or without based in, give me back the $1 million. Money, zuzim, there's us, they move from one to the other. That's why the insult is worse than cheating with money, because it cannot be given back. Tani Tana Kamed Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Kol Malbin Pnei Chaver Barabim, here it is, here it is, here it is. Whoever is Malbin Pnei Chaver Barabim, whoever insults his friend in the Rabbim in public in a way that causes his friend to go white, to become pale, he pales down, pales out, he pales by listening to that terrible insult. It's as if he spilled blood. When people move houses many times, when people, let's say, don't have physical rest, the Bichta Melea brings down B'Shem the Zohar. If you're physically restless, you have to move from one place to the other. It's like Cain. Remember Cain from Genesis, right? Isn't the one who killed Abel, his brother? I think in the Old Testament, he did. Yeah, I have it right. Good, yeah. So then Cain, he moved. He was navanad with an ois Cain. Why? Because he murdered. So let's say he didn't murder. Why is Hashem doing this to me, to move houses every other month? Because maybe you're shoifich domim, you murdered someone verbally. It's also a murder. You murdered someone verbally, then Hashem punishes you as if you're a murderer. Ad kedei kach. Omer lei shapir ka'omat. So now that Tana, which taught in front of Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, the Tana, the Amoyer, who taught the Bryce of Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Shapir Ka'amart. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said, yeah, you get a tick with a plus. I agree very much with what you're saying. You're saying good. The Chazinale, I see, physically, I can see the Ozil Sum Kavati Chivra. I can tell that the blood is kilu drained from his face. The redness, the nice natural color of the face goes away. The Ati Chivra and the paleness, the white, comes instead. So it's as if you spilled blood. Yeah, the blood goes away from his face, and his face becomes bloodless, so to speak, and that's so it goes white. Yeah, that is an equivalent. It's tantamount to killing a person when you mevash in public. What do school teachers do? A good takasha. When you insult a kid in public and there's no justification, so you're in trouble deep. Oh no. Rav Dimi. Abai asked Rav Dimi. Rav Dimi, I just saw yesterday something which I never knew. It says many times about Rav Dimi that he came from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel. Yeah. So the Maisa, he used to travel back and forth, because I saw yesterday in one of the Perishim on the Rishonim, there were a lot of Amoraim, there were a few Amoraim who on purpose would move back and forth from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, because he said, unbelievable. He said in Eretz Yisrael, in Bavel, you can see they were very much in touch with each other, right? You see machlokes in between Eretz Yisrael and Bavel, and they always learned the same masechta in all the yeshivas. I didn't believe it. Like stop. Yeah. I didn't know that. I hope he's right. It was like an Achron Perish on the Rishon. He says that they all learned the same Masechta, so the whole Torah world was discussed, like in the Mir, right? They say some yeshivas always learn what the Mir learns, because they all wanted to be together with the Mir today. Some of them do. So the Maisa, interesting, yeah, they all spoken learning. And Rav Dimi was one of those export-import people, would go back and forth and would tell over the Shmua. Oh, so now Abai asked Rav Dimi, B'ma'arava b'ma'izahiri, which halacha are they careful about in Eretz Yisrael? What would we say? Tznias, kashrus, eruvin, frumkeit, yeah, blocked internet. I'm not saying it's not important. What did he say? Amalei be'achvuri api. In Eretz Yisrael, we're very makpid not to be malbin panim. Achvuri api, we're makpid not to do halbanas panim, not to insult in public. Damar Rabbi Chanina, because Rabbi Chanina said, Hakol yordin leGehenna. Everybody goes down to Gehenna. Chutz mishloisha. Everybody goes to Gehenna except for 3. So soon we're going to see what that means, what does that have to do with anything. But first the Gemara stops and asks the question, does everybody go to Gehenna? The big Godel Ador, everybody goes down to Gehenna? Ela ema, you have to correct the sentence and say, Kol ha-yordin le-Gehenna, from those who go down to Gehenna, oilim, everybody eventually goes up from Gehenna after a second, after a minute, after 11 months, after a year, unless you're mamish. Chutz mishloisha, except for 3 people, shiordin ben oilin. Some people go to Gehenna and never go up again. That's can't get worse than that. The Eluhen, these are the winning trio. Abol Eshes Ish. A person has relations with an Eshes Ish and never did tshuva. So what? He is going to Gehenna forever and ever. Here's our guy. That's an Eretz Yisrael. Be careful. A person who insulted his friend in public and now he is never showed regret, remorse, never asked mechila. He goes to Gehenna forever. And the one who calls his friend a bad name, he has a bad nickname for his friend. Instead of calling his friend Chaim Yankel, he calls him a shorty, blacky, funny, frummy, shmummy, whatever. Well, that's included in that. If you call your friend shorty and he's insulted, well, that's a form of halbanas panim. Why is that a third section? Why is that a separate entry? Answers the Gemara, Afagav the dash baby shmei. Even though he's used to people calling him that name, he's not very insulted. When he came to Cheder in Kita Aleph, everyone called him Shorty, and today, at the age of 50, everyone still calls him Shorty. And he doesn't, says Rashi, Hurgal, he's used to it, and his face doesn't go white, but he's not really happy about it. And you really mean bad. You mean to call him Shorty to insult him about his, the fact that he's, 1 meter 50, yeah? And what? And you mean that? And he's not stunned. It's not like a weak point and nobody knows that he's, I don't know what. But Lamaisa, it's a shtickle insult. Funny enough, even that, you go to Gehenna for life. Wow. May we all see only Pnei Gan Eden and Simcha Rabbah, and tomorrow we're going to see more about halbanas panim. I'd like to really ask Mechila if it was Malbin panim in any shape or form. May we have long life. If yes, please approach me. You can make fun of me in many ways. I'll just tell you what not to make fun. Yeah, I'm listening. Have a great day, Atzlach Rabbah, and I'm listening to Leon's question. I wish everybody online a terrific day. I'm listening. Yeah.